would miss him, bro. I think the team will miss Salah if he does actually move. I don't know what's taking so long with the renewal of the contract. I know there were question marks when Klopp was around, but there seemed to be I mean, those rumors of any unhappiness, like you said, they seem to be have completely dispelled with the form he's having. I think he just completed 100 away goals for Liverpool, right, with Southampton. If I'm not wrong, I read something there. I mean, with that kind of form, and now having Diaz and Nunez with him, it seems like that those days where we used to have Salah and Mane and Firmino coming up as the top three, like that formidable top three, those three up front. It seems to be that kind of prowess again. It'll be really sad to lose him on that right wing, man.
Welcome to the Corner Flag, everybody, and welcome to the Corner Flag, all the way from Singapore, my dear friend Rishi Budrani. How's it going, my
Hey,
man?
what's going on, man? Thanks for having me, Amogh. So good to connect with you again after such a long time, man. Yeah, it's always
Absolutely,
great to connect after
yeah.
Liverpool has just won.
That
It's
is,
I love coming out of the of the woods when
yeah,
my team has just won, man.
yeah. No, that is precisely the reason why I wanted you here, not because nobody else was available. Uh,
I know, right?
I mean, I finished looking all over India and then I had to go all the way to Singapore to be like, is there anybody who's free? All right, Rishi, Liverpool fan, cool, come on, let's go.
Bro, I mean, I'm taking time out specifically from finishing up my wallpaper. I had one patch left, and you're like, "Hey, Rich, will you be on the show with me?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll finish this
Yeah.
up later, but that can wait. Don't
It
worry."
looks like that patch on your wall is walking alone.
It is. Oh wow, wow. We're going there, huh?
Yeah, we're
We're
going
going
there. We're
there,
going
huh?
there. See, those are the small joys that me as a Man United fan have to deal with, right? Like, there's very little that gives us joy and happiness these days, even with a new manager. But
Are
that
these the jokes of the new era?
Yeah, these are the jokes of the new era that have been the jokes of the previous eras, all the way up till Van Gaal and Moyes. So these jokes keep getting recycled. It just never ends. It's the same old story all the time.
I feel there's hope. Don't worry. I feel there is hope for the Devils yet.
Yeah,
Don't be too don't be too upset about it. Maybe the good times will come back. Maybe the theater of dreams. I'm sorry, I can't even say it with a straight
yeah.
face.
You can't.
I'm
No,
trying
you
so
can't.
hard. I'm trying so hard to go like it could. It could.
Yeah, the thing is, it's been what 7, 8 years, maybe I don't even know, 10 years. It just feels like an eternity. The hope
Mm.
is lost, Rishi. The hope is all gone. It's not there anymore. And very frankly speaking, all the United fans who are going to be listening to this and watching this, it's the hope that kills you. It's right. We mentioned that in the previous episode. Absolutely spot on. Hope kills
Mm.
you. Don't hope. It's not worth it.
Are you one of those fans who feels like you need to be watching the game, or do you have some kind of superstition like, no, 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 if I watch, then we're gonna lose, or I have to
You know,
watch and therefore we're gonna win?
funny enough, right? Like,
Mm.
a lot of times this has happened where I haven't watched a United game and they've won like 3-0, 4-0, whatever.
Mm. Yeah.
Absolute decisive victories. And there are times when I watch after those games, I'm like, okay, cool. I have some time now. I'll watch. They're playing well as well.
Mm.
And they'll lose. There are times when I've missed the first half and they've been winning, and then I've started watching in the second half and they've let in 3 goals. So I feel like me watching United is definitely a problem.
Causing them to
And
lose.
yeah, and I'm sorry, United fans,
Yeah,
but
man.
no matter how much I try to switch off, I just can't. For some reason, I just cannot.
Yeah, man. Maybe it's about letting go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, no
yeah.
disrespect to the United fans, man. Just let the team play,
Detach.
man.
Just
Yeah,
detach.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
completely detach myself. It's okay. If they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. It's all good. But we'll get to United in detail in a bit. We shall start off with your team, Rishi. Southampton, which is also for a long time has been termed as Liverpool B-side because of the sheer number of players that you have picked out
Oh
from
yeah.
their squad. You know,
Rescued. Rescued is the
rest.
right word.
Yeah. Uh, but Southampton gave Liverpool a bit of a scare, man. They're in the relegation zone, Southampton. They're not really playing well. They're probably definitely going to go down, but they gave
Are
Liverpool a
they
scare.
were they bottom of the table
They
at
were,
the start of the
yeah,
game?
yeah,
They were, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So when I was seeing some of some of the action that was going on, I think first of all, Liverpool fans have become so cocky. I mean, I
Mm,
say that about myself and all my people that we've
yeah,
started
yeah,
calling it slot ball. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's how much we believe in the football that Arne Slot is actually playing with the boys there.
yeah,
Uh, but I think the new style of play lends itself a little bit more to these kind of gaps in the back to let some of these things go through, right? Which
yeah,
was very different than how Klopp used to play, which was like a high press that you don't give the opponent a chance to breathe.
yeah,
I think with slots football, there's a bit more intricacy to it, and maybe that opens the players up to a bit of vulnerability. And maybe
right.
I think Southampton, and make no mistake, they played good football. I think Southampton. The
Yeah,
two goals they scored were, the first goal that Armstrong scored was actually very good. I thought.
yeah, yeah. But the problem is, no, with Southampton, what I've realized is this season, and under Russell Martin, they're very dogmatic about the kind of football that they want to play, and we saw that
Mm,
with companies Burnley also when they had that one season back in, which is
mm,
they wanted to play out from the back, they wanted to play one touch, two touch football, and all that is great philosophically, all that's great. But when you're a team that has just been promoted to the Premier League, it's
mm.
not going to work out because you just don't have the players for it. And you don't have the players who can match up to that level of the Premier League yet. It's not like you'll never have it. You'll have to build to it. But you can't just go from dominating the championship with a certain style of football and expecting that same style to
Yep.
work in the Premier League. And that's exactly what's happening with Southampton as well.
Mm.
Credit to the coach. He's very, very sure about the type of football he wants to play and he's sticking to it. But at what cost? Because it's definitely going to, cause Southampton to be relegated.
I don't know if there's a turnaround coming, but yeah, it seems a little bleak. It's
Yeah.
we're 12 games in now, 13
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good performance from the outfield players of Southampton, I thought, but oh my god, Alex McCarthy in goal had a nightmare. Like his
I,
positioning was all over the place. Even for like Salah's goal, there's no reason why he should have charged. He missed a few
yeah, he had.
punches when he went up for corners. He was just not in it.
I think in the first waves of attack, he was making some good saves, and you kind of felt like, oh, okay, is he going to frustrate Liverpool tonight? And then very
Yeah.
quickly that changed. You're right. Like, I think maybe
Yeah.
focus might have been an issue.
Yeah.
Um, that penalty on the other end, though, did you,
Yeah.
did you see? I think Robertson was the one who gave it away, right?
Yeah.
So, and this has come to a new level in the Premier League now, right? The performances of
Yeah.
the acting have reached new levels now.
Yeah.
They're just like, what? No, I didn't know. No, outside. Ref was outside. The guy with a straight face can tackle the fella, like, bring
Yeah.
him down, like, at least a yard off from the
Yeah.
penalty box and goes like, ref is outside. What are you doing? Come on, man. Forcing
But
the ref to go and VAR the shit. I mean, it was
yeah.
clear, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, to me, I found that really funny because they are obviously playing a very different game.
Yeah.
Traditionally, the Premier League hasn't been so whatever. It's been more clear cut, in my opinion, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and the thing is, it's also players need to realize that VAR exists and there's so many cameras. Like even outside of VAR, even if VAR was not a thing, we are currently in 2024. Broadcast has never been better. Like we can
Yeah.
see if we choose, if we, the audience, the fans, choose that we want this, I'm
Mm.
sure all these broadcasters will shove cameras up people's noses. Like you can see every nostril hair of every player if you want that kind of detail. You're not going to get away with these random decisions.
While that is 100% true, I agree with you. And even if, let's say, your broadcast cameras fail, you've got 40,000, 50,000 fans. Everybody's got their
Exactly.
mobile phone on at
Yeah.
any point in time,
Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
different angle, like you said.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you recall this incident. I want to say it was in a World Cup qualifier. I think, did it happen to India? India's team versus Qatar? Uh, I stand corrected, but it was a World Cup qualifier, and I think the ball had clearly gone out of play
Yes.
on the
India versus
byline,
Qatar. India Qatar.
right?
Yeah.
and the ref didn't call it. The multiple cameras didn't call it. The goal
Yeah.
stood.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I mean, okay, I don't know. There's a lot of claims there,
Yeah.
allegations of corruption and all that. But
Yeah.
well, maybe. I mean, I think the Premier League is beyond all that. But you never know, right? Sometimes, like
Yeah.
sometimes that psychology of the moment, you can
Yeah.
sway. People still think they
Yeah.
can do that, right? There's still
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hope.
Actors gonna act. That's the thing. Footballers gonna try and get whatever advantage that they're gonna get.
Can I tell
But
a true story about a? Oh,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
no,
But
no, go
so
for it. Go for it.
I recently played in my first open tournament after
Oh
like
wow. Okay.
years.
Okay.
Okay, and for those of you who are interested, this is called the Sindhi Soccer Tournament in Singapore. Right?
Oh, is that is that is
Exclusively
that is that a very very niche group of people, or is that like because
You mean
Singapore is
Sindhis playing
anyway.
football?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
bro, it's pretty damn niche.
because Singapore's not the biggest country in the world. It is quite a small country. You can I feel like I've been there and I feel like I can walk from one end of the country to the other.
It'll
I
take
wouldn't
you a
be
day,
able
but
to.
yeah, you could. Yeah, you
Yeah,
could very much.
theoretically you could, right? So there's that. Then there's the Indian population in Singapore. Then there's the Sindhi population within the Indian population in Singapore. Then there's the Sindhi population that plays football. So
Yeah,
that
so
is like
it was a great tournament for all 12 of us. It was
what is it? Three aside.
three aside. Oh man, and you just have to hit a cone. That's all, and
Yeah.
you win. No, no. Okay, so in the family, right? Ever since I was a
Right.
kid, this has been a tournament we look forward to every year. Like my cousins
Right.
and all will come together, and we have a team name. We're called the Lolos.
Okay.
Uh,
Please
if,
elaborate on the etymology of that team name.
if you're a fan of this very old Hollywood film called Race the Sun, they
Oh, I
had this
haven't seen this.
Hawaiian. It was based on a true story of the Hawaiian solar car team. It was
Okay.
a Hawaiian high
Okay.
school that sent a team of students to compete in Australia for the World Solar Car Championships, and
Okay.
the underdogs, so to speak,
Right.
in that community were called the Lolos.
Okay.
So my cousin, who was the captain of the team, he went, hey, we are the underdogs. Nobody expects us to win. We're a bunch of, middle class poor people from Bedok, a
Yeah.
neighborhood in Singapore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to show all these rich Sindhis with their businesses and their overseas education that we can kick their ass at football.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the whole. That is the etymology of the term.
Okay. Okay.
So recently I came back after many years. Now it's all changed. I'm past 40. I'm not supposed to be playing in the open category, but my boys convinced me like, hey, come on now, you can do this. Come. So we're in a quarterfinal match, right? And this is what happened, right? I'm the center back, right? The last man at this point.
Right. Right.
The striker has the ball, and my keeper has rushed out. My
Okay.
keeper has rushed out, and instinctively I go and cover the goal.
Yeah.
I go and
Yeah.
cover the goal.
Yeah.
Striker sees the keeper out. He plays it down hard to the left. I dive and save the ball with my hand on the line.
Uh,
I take a call, right? It was clear for me. It was clear for my team.
yeah.
Uh, but for some reason, the spectators in the crowd
Yeah.
were like, "Ref, come on, it hit his chest. It hit his chest." Because the ref immediately started pulling out a red card.
Yeah.
And I just didn't say a word. I let the fans argue with the ref. So it's my players arguing with the ref, and then the fans going, and in the end, the ref gives me a yellow and a penalty. I'm like, wow, how? I mean,
You got away with non-literal murder there in footballing
horrible.
terms.
It was horrible. It was the. If Leo DiCaprio was there, Scorsese was there, they would be like, get this
Yeah.
guy in the sequel to Irishman called Sindhi Man.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
horrible, man.
Fantastic
Yeah, I
stuff.
just wanted to share that because we're talking about penalties and acting and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, but it was Salah also who ended up scoring a penalty on the other end. His first goal also was an Alex McCarthy error, I felt, which is the error that I was pointing out where he rushed for the ball when there was no reason to. But Salah's in a bit of a weird space with Liverpool, man, Rishi, because
Mm.
there has been talk about his contract extension for a while
Yep.
since the season began. That's been
Yep.
a topic of discussion. Uh, they were not sure how they were going to carry on with Arne Slot, but clearly things are going really well. The player seems to be very happy. However, after the Southampton game, when the players were leaving,
Mm.
Mo Salah comes out and on his way to the bus, he reacts to some journalists who are standing by the bus and he willingly goes up to them
Mm-hmm.
and he starts talking to them and starts answering their questions. And obviously, one of the first questions that they ask is, what is up with the contract situation?
Yep.
And what he had to say was really interesting, but also very scary for Liverpool fans because he said, "Oh, it's December and I haven't got any offers yet, so I don't know. Are you disappointed? Yes, I'm disappointed because I give
Mm.
my all for the club. I love it here. I love the club. I love the fans, but it's not up to me or the fans. It's up to the people at the club to
Yeah.
decide. So we'll see." Um, hmm,
Man, I would miss him, bro. I would miss. I think the team will miss Salah if he does actually move.
yeah,
I don't know what's taking so long with the renewal of the contract. I know there were
because
question marks when Klopp was around,
yeah,
but there seemed to be I mean, those rumors of any unhappiness, like you said, they seem to be have completely dispelled with the form he's having. I think he just completed 100 away goals for Liverpool, right, with
yeah,
Southampton. If I'm not wrong, I
yeah,
read something
yeah,
there. I mean, with that
yeah,
kind of form, and now having Diaz and Nunez with him, it seems like that those days where we used to have Salah and Mane and Firmino
yeah,
coming up as the top three, like that formidable top three,
yeah,
those three up front. It seems to be that kind of
yeah,
prowess again.
yeah.
It'll be really sad to lose him on that right wing, man.
Yeah, and honestly, like there's multiple ways of looking at it, right? Like because we've only heard one side of the story with Salah going to these journalists. We haven't heard what the club has had to say, and more often than not, the board or the club as a whole will never make a statement about a player's contract like this because that never happens. Players do have more easier access to media to voice
Mm.
their displeasures or their opinions about these
Yep.
things. But there's multiple ways of looking at it. One is it could be a case again. Salah's not getting any younger.
Mm.
He's
Mm.
in peak form for sure. He's showing that for Liverpool week in week out this season.
Yep.
Uh, but he's not getting any younger. So at some point, maybe the club is talking and discussing what the future is going to be. Are
Mm.
they
Mm.
going
Mm.
to extend his contract? Is he going to end his career here? They're planning for the future. Now,
Yep.
if that is the case, then according to me, they're going to have offered him lower wages. They're
Mm.
not going to give him a contract extension with higher wages. That's not going to happen because it makes no sense increasing a player's wages and he's not going to sign a long term contract. He's going to sign a 1 year, 2 year tops
Yep.
contract. They're not going to want to do that. They'll want him on reduced wages, which he will not want. So I feel like they're caught in a bit of an impasse there. So when Salah says, "Oh, I haven't heard anything from the club," I don't think that's entirely true. I feel like the club
Mm.
would have made an offer because I don't think they'd be stupid to not make an offer at all, considering his contract's due to expire in the summer.
Yeah, man. I feel like he's not reached that point where he's ready to just go and semi-retire in the Saudi Arabian league
Yeah,
or whatever.
because
Or like MLS.
he was asked about the Saudi league and he said no comments on that.
Hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, they promise you a really, bro, the kind of lives and lifestyles
Yeah,
and money they
yeah,
promise you there,
yeah,
with like no pressure, playing
yeah,
with lower level players.
yeah.
I, I don't know, man. I
I
mean,
mean, it's a great payday for a footballer. Like no shame, no judgment. Like whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
you do what you feel is good for you and your family, man. Like everybody needs
yeah.
to, sing for their supper. So whatever it is that you feel you need to do, you do. But I feel like if Liverpool have not offered him a contract at all, like he says,
Mm.
then that's something that should be called out. Like Liverpool fans should be really, really vocal about this.
Do you think the manager would put pressure on the on the I mean, you think Slot would put pressure on the management to go like,
I
hey,
think,
can we
but
can we
I
like
think,
do
I think,
something for this guy?
no, I think Slot's too new in the job
Hmm.
to want to even try and exert that pressure on his employers. Like I feel like
Hmm.
he's too new. He doesn't have that much credit in the bank just yet.
Yeah.
Klopp got to a level with Liverpool where he had so much credit in the bank that he could ask for what he wanted, and chances are he would get it.
Yep.
But they're not going to do that with Slot. They'll just be like, yeah, you're winning a lot, we're top of the league, but it's just 12 games, buddy. Like, you haven't
Yeah,
done
yeah.
shit.
Finish the
So
season
you
first.
don't
Show
you
some
don't get
silverware.
to, yeah, you don't get to dictate who we sign or not sign or whose contracts we extend. You
Yep.
can give an opinion, but that's not your call. Your call is to
Mm.
coach the team for the games.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I feel it's something that the owners need to figure out. Uh, and if Salah really loves the club, and if he feels like he is going to retire here, then
Mm.
maybe they need to come at some sort of a compromise, whether it's wages, whether it's duration, whatever it is. I think that needs to be sorted out, because you're right. Like, it does look like that lethal front three of Mane and Firmino with Salah coming back together,
Yeah.
even though it's Darwin Nunez who's blow hot, blow cold, or Luis Diaz, who's also, if we actually look at it, blow hot, blow cold. But Gakpo's starting to perform a little bit now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Diaz is getting better with this form. Nunez has started scoring a little more regularly, so it is kind of clicking. But
Yep.
let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, man. I mean, those names you mentioned are such talented footballers, bro. Like Gakpo, I think what the Euros did for his confidence
Yeah.
coming back after
Yeah,
Euros to the
he
league
he he
was he
came back. Yeah, he
changed
came
player,
back a
man.
change player completely. I feel like he was so unsure before the Euros, and then after that
Yep.
experience, he really sorted it out. But yes, of course, what the victory over Southampton means is that Liverpool are now 8 points top of the Premier League table, 8 points clear. Uh,
Wild.
Also helped by the fact that Man City lost their fifth game in a row, 4-0 loss
Yeah,
against
bro.
Ange Postecoglou's Spurs. Rishi,
Yeah.
what is going on with Guardiola? And I asked this question to the guests we had in the last episode as well, but I want you to answer this as well. Is Pep a bald fraud?
Uh, okay. There's two things that I always think about when I watch Guardiola's interviews. Excuse
Mm,
me. And I always think that he's either cocksure about everything or he's extremely unsure.
mm.
I don't think Pep's ever had an in between in
Yeah,
any phase of his career as a manager. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
unfortunately we are seeing this phase of his where he's I don't know if it's complacency. I don't know if he's a little jaded with everything that's going on, because there's also, in addition to the actual on the field issues,
yeah,
there's the whole issue of the charges
yeah,
that he's had to uh, maybe not directly but indirectly address, and
yeah,
journalists are always asking about it, and he's had to, I think, correct some people about it in the past also. So
yeah,
I think that takes a toll after a while
yeah,
on the whole team. It's
yeah,
easier said than done to go like, hey guys, come on, focus on the football, all right, leave
yeah,
all this aside.
yeah.
And I think maybe some of that pressure is starting to show.
I think that's absolutely spot on. It probably has a lot to do with all the legal issues that are plaguing them
Mm,
outside of the football pitch, that is causing their form today. But Guardiola did say that regardless of what happens in the trial, regardless of what the punishment is, if there is a punishment,
yep.
he's going to be there. He said he
Mm,
will be there. He's just signed a new extension as well. And he
yep.
has said that he's going to be there regardless of, even if they get relegated, he will be there. And as a United fan, I feel like this is a great moment for me to say this. Again, small joys, like we discussed at the beginning of the episode. Buddy Pep, with the way y'all are playing, I don't think the charges are going to be necessary to relegate you. I think just your on field performances will get you there. So, if you want to start planning for the championship from now itself, I think you can. And this is when all the City fans, all five of them who are watching this, will start commenting and giving
Mm,
me hate for this needless dig.
needless,
Yeah.
so beautifully needless, but so nice to hear.
Yeah, it's the pettiness that makes the world go round at the end of the day, right? If you're not petty about
Yeah.
these small things, then what is the enjoyment in your life?
What's the
That's
point?
what
What
I
are we
say.
even doing here? What's the
Exactly.
point?
Exactly. But again, like Spurs, on the other hand,
What a game, though. I mean, what such really good football, man. They're
yeah,
playing.
yeah. It's basically, and just football, when it clicks and when it works, is blitzkrieg football. Like it just takes you by surprise. It takes you by
Yeah,
storm.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no time to think. But the
It's
problem with Spurs is that it doesn't always click.
mm,
And Ange is also one of those managers who doesn't like to change his systems around too much. He's like, no, this is plan A and that's all. I don't know any other alphabets after A. There's nothing. There's only A. My name, Ange. A, that's it.
yeah.
Plan A. There's nothing else, right? And in fact, this was a late kickoff, right? Like in India, even later for you guys in Singapore.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was
yeah.
in bed, I was asleep, but for FPL reasons, I kept checking my phone. So through the night, I was checking my phone, and I woke up in the morning,
Mm,
early morning. First thing I do is I pick up my phone to see what the result was and who scored.
yeah.
My wife is waking up. She's like, "Are you serious? Are you checking FPL instead of giving me a kiss first thing in the morning?" And I'm like, babe, I'm top 10,000 in India in FPL. Some things are just a little bit more important.
Man, wow, you're a brave man, dude.
I'm a
My
very
wife's
brave
not
man.
even in town right now, and I don't dare say that. I think she's got the whole house rigged with cameras.
I
She's
know
got our
Sharul.
dog.
I know Sharul, and I agree. I'm pretty sure that's what's happened.
No, I feel like we've got a little pup in the house, and
Yeah.
feeling like she's watching me. She's like, "Hey, hey, yo, Dad, are
Yeah.
we really gonna do this now? Are you really gonna try
Yeah.
this out?"
Yeah. Mom doesn't like
Uh,
this.
but no, man, good. You're right. Actually, really good football. But this thing you mentioned about Plan A, right? There's some
Yeah.
coaches who, and I think uh, in in his day, Fergie was very very good about this, right?
Yeah.
About kinda okay. I'm look. We're into Fergie time, and we need to win this, right? In Fergie time, so I'm going to throw on, this super sub right now because this is how the opponent plays, right?
Yeah.
And then there are some players and coaches and teams who are like, why are we watching how the other people are playing? I think there was this old interview of talking about Eden Hazard,
Mm.
and Hazard's like, why are we watching the other players play?
Yeah.
We should be watching ourselves. What's the
Yeah.
point of watching how they play? Just give me the
Yeah.
ball. I'll go. And then he
Yeah.
went on
Yeah.
the field and he scored 2 goals in that game. Apparently,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Terry was saying something about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's how the coach and how the manager
Yeah.
kind of leads the lads into battle
Yeah.
is and how those lads fit into that particular team. That is what really helps whether it clicks or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the person leading you, right? So with Klopp, it was very emotionally charged Liverpool for 8 years. eight
Yeah.
years around 8 years, yeah.
Eight
So
years.
it
Yeah.
was almost, it's like, it wasn't like I'm afraid of him. But
Yeah.
with Fergie, it was like, oh shit, everyone's scared of
Yeah.
the boss.
Yeah.
So you got no room to screw around, and you better get your shit in order.
Yeah.
But for Klopp, it was more like, hey, we love this guy. We love the club. We really want to give our
Yeah.
best. We don't want to let him down. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if someone like Pep has any of that kind of relationship with the bloody machines that he's
Yeah.
got in his
But
team, the
but
monsters he has in his team.
that's absolutely right, because if you've read Zlatan's autobiography, he talks about exactly this, because he's worked
Mm,
under Guardiola as well as Mourinho, and he
mm,
said Guardiola would just freeze you out if you didn't adhere to his philosophy. He'd
mm.
just ice you out, whereas Mourinho would interact with you in such a way that by the end of it, players were willing to take a bullet for him. And I feel like that's very similar to what Klopp did with Liverpool, what Ferguson did with United as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is they're strict when they need to be and you don't
Mm.
want to cross them.
Yep.
But at the same time, when you do something right and they like it, the way they appreciate you just
Yep.
gives you that extra oof. And I don't
Yep.
think that happens with Pep. I feel
Mm.
like when you do something bad, he'll start icing you out. When you do
Mm.
something good, he is the same level. Like, he's as excited about football as is his personality. He's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
nerd. So it
He's a
doesn't
geek, bro.
really,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
a
it
football
doesn't,
geek.
yeah, it probably doesn't translate from a player to player basis. Like on an individual basis, maybe it doesn't translate.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I feel, on the other hand, with Ange, I feel like it has the potential too, because he
Exactly.
seems like a very lovable manager to work under.
Mm.
He seems like he has a decent idea of the strategies and tactics he wants to use.
Yeah.
It's just that he needs to understand how to manage games a little better. Because if he can do that, then I think he's a great manager.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely see that potential, like you said, man. There is a very bright future for Spurs this season and the
Yeah,
ones coming if Ange continues.
yeah.
Not sure
But
how long
this
his
is,
contract is for, but
but like the last 5 games, in fact, for
mm,
Spurs illustrate this exact point, right?
mm,
Win, loss, win, loss, win.
yeah,
Like it is literally up and down, and that is just it's baffling because they have decent players. They should be putting these teams to bed. They've won against City. They lost
yeah,
against Ipswich before this. So
mm,
like, it's like, what, how can you lose
yeah,
against Ipswich and then
yeah,
beat City 4-0?
yeah,
Before that, they won against Aston Villa. Again, Aston Villa in the Champions League were topping the Champions League for a
yeah,
little
yeah,
while. They're doing really well. They've beaten them, but they've lost against Crystal Palace, a Crystal Palace that have not been playing well this season. And before that, they've
yeah.
won against West Ham. So it's so up and down. Like,
You know this erratic nature of the results. I think it almost mirrors the kind of risk and just trying to encourage the players to take. And when
yeah,
you play, a bit more attacking and risk-taking football,
yeah,
you're bound to leave some gaps
yeah,
until
yeah,
the system is kind of
yeah,
set.
yeah, yeah,
Then maybe you see those returns. So maybe this is a damn genius plan that will
yeah,
show its that will show its fruits of the labor in the second half
yeah,
of the season. Hopefully, it's
yeah,
not too late,
yeah,
or it is just it's just like shitty form. It's just erratic
yeah,
form. Maybe
yeah,
we are over analyzing the whole thing and just
yeah.
they're
Maybe
just
They-
it's just football.
they're just playing on vibes. That's basically what is happening.
How are you
Um,
feeling today? Come on. Like, son is like,
yeah,
you
not feeling
know,
it. Yeah, okay.
I met, I mean, not met, but because Son was in Singapore playing at the Singapore Sports Hub, 60,000,
Okay.
well, it was 50,000 fans. They had
Okay.
a World Cup qualifier, it was the Asian leg of the World Cup qualifiers. For some
Okay.
reason, Singapore was in the same group as South Korea. I
Huh.
mean, it was a
Yeah.
tough night for the fans.
I can
Uh,
imagine.
and this dude is the most chill bugger you will see
Yeah.
in the entire stadium, right?
Yeah.
He waltzes into the media room whistling. Not even nobody's talking to him, whistling, doing this to people. You know how
Yeah.
overly friendly Son is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in his post-match interview, I mean,
Yeah.
they creamed the Singapore team. I think it was
Yeah.
7-1 or something. I stand corrected, but it was a really or 5-1 or something, 6-1, 5-1. It was a very
Yeah.
it was not a respectable scoreline at all.
Yeah.
But Sun's post-match interview was along the lines of, "Hey, Singapore is a young footballing nation. They played they tried their best. You could see the heart in these players, and of course, it will take time. You got to have the patience, but I see that there's some future for it." Along those
Yeah.
lines, I paraphrase a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
but it just tells you what kind of vibes guy
Yeah.
this is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy is
Yeah.
not gonna. Oh my god! Look at that! What?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
No, no, you did that. The MacBooks
What?
do that with certain reactions. So
Shit.
you can do this, and that
Man.
happens. Yeah. If you
I'm
do.
so sorry I geeked out on that moment, dude. I
Yeah. Yeah.
apologize. It,
No.
it
No. No
hasn't
need to
happened for a while for
apologize.
me.
No, 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 no need to apologize. We always learn something new on this podcast, so it's all good, man.
It's all the vibes,
Everything,
bro.
it's all
Yeah.
the vibes. But yes, the Vibes FC has gotten up to sixth place in the Premier League now.
Yeah,
So
it's
they're
pretty
in
good.
the European spots. That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
are only about 3 points behind Brighton in fifth, and about 6 points behind Arsenal in fourth. So not bad considering it's 12 games in.
Brighton in fifth. Did you ever think you would live to see the day where you would like announce that? Brighton in
No, I
fifth.
also didn't realize that the manager of Brighton, who has got them into fifth place, is about 4 years younger than me.
No
So
shit,
yeah, he's
really?
he's 31. He's 31.
That dude, what's his name? I've seen his interviews. Sorry, I don't have
Fabian
his.
Hurzler.
Zla. Ah,
Hurzler.
This
Young
guy is
bloke
younger than
giving the
you,
Premier
really?
League, yeah, yeah,
Shit.
giving the Premier League a run for their money. And
Oh, this dude. Yeah, yeah, of course.
you used to feel bad when players were young. Like, you're in your late 20s and you're like, oh, who's this new 16-year-old kid who started playing? Oh, who's this 18-year-old kid who started playing?
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you see managers, you're just like, oh fuck, now that's just rubbing it in. Like,
Horrible.
managers aren't
Yeah.
supposed to be this young. Now you're just taking the piss.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a good question, right? Because I think about this often. Like up till a few years ago,
Yeah.
I would still see players my age. Oh God, I gotta stop doing air quotes, man. These bloody balloons. Sorry. I would still
That's
see
okay.
managers. I would still see players, kind of my age, in the your age, like you're in
Yeah.
your early 30s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You would still see players, and would you kind of go like, yeah, if I really wanted to, I
Yeah.
mean, if I really took it
Yeah.
seriously, I still could kind of have a.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be
Yeah.
it's a bit long shot, but I still could
Yeah.
kind of do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, like what goes through my mind is, so thank you for saying early 30s. It's mid 30s now, as of last
I, do-
month.
I
But
left 30s. I've just passed 40 this year, bro. So like, it's all
oh,
the same to me.
it's all
The
the same.
30s decade is done.
It's done, right? But you see players your age, and you're
Mm.
like exactly what you said. If I really wanted it, I could get to that level of fitness. It's not like I'll play for a Premier League club,
Yeah,
but I could get to that level of fitness
yeah, yeah,
and play like that in my five-a-side.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But I could get, if that 30-year-old can get to that level of fitness,
Why
so
not,
can I.
right?
If I
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
because he really wanted it. So now if I really wanted it, I could do it. It's just
Bro, I
correlation. It's simple maths.
yeah, it's like aim for the stars and get to the fifth floor of your colony building. That's what I always and
Exactly.
be happy with.
Exactly.
That's why
Exactly.
I started playing football again this year. Like I know I like people who play with me regularly. They know that I have maybe like two good moves
Yeah.
in the whole game
Yeah.
before I take a few pictures and then post it up for social media.
That's
Uh,
two more than me, by the way. So
let's
you're, you're
see.
you're getting that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we are all kind of the same
Yeah.
range, right? But because of that, bro, I mean, the wildest story is that when I was playing regularly as a younger person, in my teens for whatever, for school or like playing like uh block football on concrete, getting caught by cops and everything, I could never afford like proper boots and shit.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
wear
Yeah.
cheap boots or hand me downs from a cousin or
Yeah.
borrow from a friend or whatever. And Sindhi dads will never say like, "Huh, beta, no, hey, I buy
Yeah.
the best boots,
Yeah.
football, Predator,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
huh, hundreds, no, 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 hello, take the $30 lotos and be
Yeah.
happy." But now, suddenly, at the age of 40, when I went back into football, and I'm
Yeah.
using, I'm also in a way doing my part to spread the word of Singapore football to the fans. I'm
Yeah.
doing my best to bring the fans back into the stadium. I'm
Yeah.
also playing in amateur leagues and getting
Yeah.
people more engaged in the sport.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I've got like limited edition Mizuno boots, multiple pairs in my house that I
Nice.
simply do not deserve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the sponsors are
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Rish, take this, man. There's like 5,000 in the world." I'm like, uh, you want me to bring this back to my house? So literally, every football training or every bit of exercise I do in my life is literally to fit into the shoes that I've been given that I
but I,
do
I
not deserve.
but oftentimes that's the kick up your backside that you need, right?
Yeah.
Like that is what gets you going. Now tomorrow, if Nike came up to me and were like, here's the latest edition of the Mercurial Vapors that whoever Mbappe wears or
Yeah.
whoever, uh, I- and these are the exact same boots that we made for Kylian Mbappe. Like, this is his foot. Like, we've designed it around his foot, and
Yeah.
he told us what he needs to make sure that
Mm.
he's as fast as he can be. Now, there's only one other pair of this. Killian has the other, and we made this as a spare, but one thread was slightly off. So he's like, "No, I can't deal with this." But now you have it,
Give
so
me.
use it. And then if Killian calls and says, "Oh, his boots are done and he needs a new pair," then we'll need you to send these to him. I'll be like, I must be worthy. I must do
Wow,
whatever it takes to be worthy.
that is an yeah.
And then you'll see me playing for a Premier League club. So Nike, make that happen. Let's do it.
Make that happen
Let's do
for my
it.
buddy, man. Call Amogh and make that happen for him, please. And tell
Yeah.
Mbappe, don't worry, we'll cover the flight on our own. Amogh will fly himself.
Yeah,
You
I'll
don't
fly.
have to send any cash for him.
I will do it myself. I will get into a car and drive all the way to Madrid if I have to, but I will make it happen. Finally, to wrap up this conversation, one last
Yeah.
game that we should talk about, and purely because
Mm.
I'm a United fan, is Man United won, Ipswich won, or the other way around because it was at Ipswich. The Ruben Amorim era has
Mm.
begun with
Yeah.
a little bit of a sputter. It
Yeah.
started off really well, where Marcus Rashford chosen to lead the strike
Early goal,
line
man. Congrats.
ahead. Yeah,
Very nice.
surprising that Rashford was playing striker when we have Xerxes and Hoyland, who are number nines,
Mm-hmm.
and Rashford has said he likes playing out in the wing.
Yeah.
But he scores within 90 seconds.
Mm.
It's all going great, and then an
Yeah.
equalizer from Ipswich, and then it was just a lot more of the same. As a Liverpool fan or as a non-United fan, what were
Yeah.
your thoughts on the game? Like, did you see any tangible change under this manager?
I gotta say it's maybe a little too soon to see, but I did like what was going on under Ruud van Nistelrooy. For
Mm,
those few games he was there, I know it was a temporary thing. Everybody was aware it was a temp, but maybe because it was a temp thing and there was this nothing to lose kind of vibe about it, like we were talking about, right? Let's
yeah,
ease off the gas pedal a little bit,
yeah,
let them play their game, let them work shit out, and maybe then you will see better results. That's what I always feel
yeah,
about. Yeah, because there's no way, I think there's so much of a pressure of history
mm,
on the shoulders of anybody
yeah,
involved in any level of Manchester United football right now,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
it's the fans, the managers, the players, the coaches, the board, whoever.
yeah,
And if you bring it back a little bit, there was a long run of how Liverpool was doing really badly in the league.
yeah,
There was this drought of any silverware
yeah,
after they had won so much
yeah,
historically.
yeah,
I think it's that same phase that Manu is facing right now. That it's almost the pressure of history is
yeah,
getting to the current batch of people who are involved, and
yeah.
that is messing things up a little bit.
I could not agree more because every manager, and we've had good managers. We've had Van Gaal, who came with a lot
Of course,
of
credentials, man.
accolades behind him. We
Yeah,
had Mourinho, who came with the same. Uh, we had Solskjaer, who did well for a little while as an underdog manager. We
yeah.
had Ten Hag, who was supposed to be a tactical genius,
Mm,
and now we've got Amorim. But all of these managers have been unable to crack this code for some reason.
yeah.
And whatever that is, I don't know if Amorim is going to be the right guy to do it. I was excited about the game.
Mm,
I was excited to see what happens. I just feel like you said, it's too soon to tell, right? Like, it's just one game. It's too soon to tell. He's had
yep.
two training sessions.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
unfair. It's
did
unfair for
see,
us to judge. Yeah.
I did see a little bit of a change. I feel like under Van Nistelrooy, what happened was they were still playing Ten Hag's system,
Mm,
but
mm, mm.
with a lot more freedom, and
Yes.
it feels like the shackles were off. With
Yep.
Amarim, I feel like he is a lot more open with his players in terms of communication, in terms of friendliness, etc., etc. Things that famously Ten Hag did not have.
Mm,
But his system is completely new, and these players are not used to it. So
yep.
it's those teething problems. But
Yep.
on that note, what you said was because Van Nistelrooy's reign was temporary, is what worked. I
Mm.
feel United should just have temporary managers. Every 5 games,
Maybe.
change
Yeah.
manager. Just
Sounds like
find
a
just find
nightmare.
some just find some ex-United player to come in for the vibes. Oh, we've had Soldier, we've had Van Nistelrooy. We're not going to go with Keane and Neville because they've had managerial stints and they've largely been rubbish.
They are good
But
on they are good on podcasts and interviews
Yeah, they're
only.
good on
Those
podcasts
fellas.
and interviews. We can't have gigs because, well, not just because he was already a manager, but he also is a very, very troubled man. So,
Mm.
no gigs. But get Phil Neville, get Nicky Butt, get David Beckham for 5 games, get all the play all the hits.
So the
Eric
club
Cantona,
should
Teddy Sheringham, सबको ले आओ.
so we're saying like the club menu as a club should operate like a club and just have residency for
Yeah,
managers instead of
yeah,
actual
yeah, yeah,
managers.
yeah.
Like, who's the
Okay.
resident manager for this
Yeah,
season? Oh, okay, it's just this guy. Oh, okay, okay. Ten Hag is there for
yeah,
a while. Good, good,
yeah,
no problem. Yeah,
yeah,
Beckham is coming in, and
yeah,
you can market it also, right? You're like, okay,
yeah.
for the month of for the
And
month of Jan to March,
yeah, and
Beckham.
this and here's the thing, right? Like everybody talks about what a big club Man United is, right? Oh, it's a big club. It's
Mm-hmm.
a big club. It's a big club because there's a lot of branding opportunities. It's a big club because marketing wise,
Mm.
there's a large fan base globally that the
Yep,
club can attract. So, which is why sponsors like to come on and pay us regardless of what we're doing on the pitch.
yep, yep.
I feel doing this is such a great content idea.
Mm.
Start an Instagram poll, man. Who do you want the
Who
next
would you
manager
like
to
to see?
be? Give the power to the people.
Oh
That's what
boy,
I say.
what if India goes? We want to see Modi ji as
Array,
the
get Modi ji in, yaar.
get
Get
Modi
Modi
ji.
ji in because maybe he's the only answer. Maybe that is it. Maybe that is the
Oh,
one thing that we've been missing. Because he can
amazing.
work miracles everywhere, right? Like that's what he claims. So, sir, this is the biggest miracle that you
Sir,
will
can you
ever
do
have
this
to
for
make.
us, please? For
Yeah,
the menu
please.
fans, help
You've got
them.
you. How many 5-year terms have you got in India? Do one 5-match term here, please, sir. Please. That's all. That is all we need. And on that note, I think there's a great note to end this episode on. Thank you so much, Rishi, for joining us. Yeah, it's
Bro, so
been
happy to be on the show. Thanks so much. I've watched the show so many times in the past, and I'm glad we finally got a chance to chat in
absolute.
person.
And we're going to do this a lot more often. I'm going to keep bugging you a lot more often to come on because this has been an absolute pleasure. And thank you everybody for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us what you thought of this episode or any of the previous episodes, you can find us on social media. Rishi can be find Rishi can be found on Instagram at
At Rishi Budrani, but if you would like to find me, please don't. I'm in Singapore. There's a lot of fines I have to pay as it is. Please avoid that. Thank you.
yeah, and you can find me on Instagram at Amogh. You can also follow the Conflag on Instagram and Twitter at the rate conflagpod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/at the rate conflagpod, or subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Shout out to Kazad Gurda for composing our theme tune. And until next week, it is goodbye from us. So say bye, Rishi.
Bye. Air quotes. Come on, give me balloons, balloons, balloons. Let's do it. No,
It's
too
not
late.
coming. No, I think you just have to do this. There we
Oh, there you go.
go. And it's bye
Thanks for
from
having me,
me.
guys.